In this video, we are going to explore about the campaign on illegal drugs on the Philippines. Drug abuse is evident in all countries all over the world. Drug abuse in the Philippines is one of the topmost priorities of the government due to that it has become an epidemic in the society. However, the question is, when will the government come up with a comprehensive program to address the said problem? The parallel of what is happening today is the same as the 19th century during the advent of opium. Opium, or apian in Tagalog, was a regulated drug during the Spanish era, with the Chinese having exclusive rights to its legal use. The surge in the Chinese population between 1876 and 1886 also contributed to the expansion of opium. March 1908 was the ultimatum date for the ban of illegal drugs. In 1908, during the American colonization, was the birth of the war on illegal drugs. However, the value of such campaigns have since been called into question as the drug war shows no signs of abating. Drug use is shared by many Filipinos and has common since the war on drugs in the early 1970s. 2019 drug survey shows drug use prevalence rate falls to 2.05%, around 1.67 million of 2 out of the 100 Filipinos aged 10 to 69 are current users of drugs. There were different campaigns and Republic Acts implemented in the country against drug abuse, but there is still a large number of drug users all over the country.
Causes of drug addiction. Drugs during President Ferdinand E. Marcos. In 1972, drug problem was just at its incipient stage, with only 20,000 drug users and marijuana as the top choice among the users in the Philippines. In 1892, the number of methamphetamine hydrochloride or shabu users was seen to have increased. Drugs during President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. In 2005, the Drugs Board reported 5 million regular users of methamphetamine alone, amounting to an prevalence of 6% of the country. This prompted the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime to suggest that the Philippines has the world's highest methamphetamine prevalence rate at that time. Drugs during President Benigno Aquino III. In 2012, the United Nations World Drug Report said that the Philippines has the highest rate of shabu use in East Asia. The Aquino administration has made some progress in tackling the shabu problem. In 2012, government reported that the decline of industrial-sized meth labs. In 2015, a total of 1.8 million drug users was reported by the Dangerous Drug Boards. The drugs or substance of abuse are methamphetamine, hydrochloride or shabu, cannabis or marijuana, and lastly cocaine. The country's drug problem worsened because of the negligence of former President Benigno Noynoy. Drugs during President Rodrigo Duterte. Around 1.67 million or 2 out of 100 Filipinos aged 10 to 69 are current users of drugs, according to the results of the 2019 National Household Survey on the Patterns and Trends of Drug Abuse, released by the Dangerous Drugs Board. Cannabis or marijuana, which is 57%, was found to be the most commonly abused dangerous drug, followed by methamphetamine hydrochloride or shabu, which is 35%. In the 2019 drug survey, estimates the current user prevalence rate of 2.05%, significantly lower than the 2018 global estimates of 5.3%, published by the World Drug Report by 2020. According to EMBRA in 2014, there are a variety of factors that influence illegal drug prevalence in the Philippines, namely geographic factors that make patrolling and protecting the country from smugglers of methamphetamine and planters of marijuana, economic factors such as poverty, social factors such as the phenomenon of the overseas contract worker, media exposure and the decreasing moral fabric of the society, and political factors such as policies, drug laws, and enforcement. Geographically speaking, drug syndicates use the Philippines as a transit hub for the illegal drug trade, utilizing overseas Filipino workers as drug mules. In the economy, due to poverty, Filipinos choose to be involved in drug trafficking due to the promise of a high income. Some were forced and blackmailed, especially women. Social factors, media exposure and the decreasing moral fabric of the society. Party drugs are prevalent, especially in the media. To some, it is considered as a vitamin because it boosts confidence and to overcome their insecurities. Effects of drug addiction. Number 1. Countless crimes, financial problems, and broken relationships, both with families and friends. Number 2. All illegal drugs have immediate physical effects, and they also hinder physiological and emotional development, especially among young people, says the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, or UNODC. Third one, drugs cloud a user's judgment, making him, her, take more risks. For instance, having unsafe sex that could lead one to contract sexually transmitted diseases, including HIV and AIDS. Last one, despite of the anti-drugs campaign, some Filipinos still uses illegal drugs.
Here are the actions undertaken to solve the problem. It is the programs by the government. Republic Act 6425, otherwise known as the Dangerous Drugs Act of 1972, was approved on March 30, 1972. Ferdinand Marcos arranged the Dangerous Drugs Board, or DBB, on November 14, 1972, under the Office of the President. In 1972, Republic Act 6425, otherwise known as the Dangerous Drugs Act of 1972, was approved on March 30, 1972. In 1974, the Interagency Committee on Drug Abuse Prevention Education was formed to strengthen the relationship among the various agencies in the Dangerous Drugs Board. In 1982, RE 6425 was made through Batas Pambansa 179, which itemized prohibited drugs and its derivatives. In 1995, the DBB launched Oplan Iwas Droga, which has become the national flagship program on drug abuse prevention. In January 1999, DILG, PNP, NBI, Bureau of Immigration, National Prosecution Service, and Bureau of Customs in DDN comprised the National Drug Law Enforcement and Prevention Coordinating Center created by virtue of the Executive Order No. 61. In 2002, Republic Act 9165, or the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, repealed RA 6425. Under the administration of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, drug prevention and control has become a top priority of the government. Anti-drug campaign has been enhanced and strengthened. Establishment of community-based treatment and rehabilitation programs and services by local government units. Institutionalization of drug-free workplace policies in all government offices. During this administration, the National Plan of Action Against Drugs was revisited, and a new framework of action was established, known as the Philippine Anti-Illegal Drugs Strategy, or PADS, which has been institutionalized by virtue of Executive Order No. 66, signed by President Duterte on 29 October 2018. The plan of action set our goal in creating drug-free communities by 2020. Oplan Tukhang was also implemented during Duterte's administration that became a hot issue due to the many killings it had brought and paved way for extrajudicial killings.
programs that addresses the illegal drugs is useful to fight against it, although it's just an eye-opener approach which is not immediately solution. We believe that it is a long-term key to destroy or at least lessen to the circulations of illegal drugs. Acts of human often begin with their freedom of choice. Therefore, engaging them mentally can testify the illegal drugs are evil and abominable. For instance, parents are responsible for their children and providing efficient moral lesson, particularly to avoid evil things.